Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video, I wanted to keep it pretty short and sweet and give you guys 5 tips to improve here at Guilty Gear Strive. I think that these are pretty good to kind of get you going, especially if you're a newer player and are not used to certain aspects of Guilty Gear. But before we move forward, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with anything and everything going on with this channel. So let's get to these 5 tips to help you improve in Guilty Gear Strive. We got the dash macro. A lot of people kind of feel some kind of way about using the dash macro, but if you want my honest opinion, I really think that you should be mapping this to your controller, stick, hitbox, keyboard, whatever you play on. Please be sure to map this button towards your controller because, you know, it's one of the strongest additions to the game and you should honestly be using it, okay? No matter what you play on, right? It helps with reversal timing backdashes when necessary. It helps with drift RC combos, blue RC drift escapes and punishes, making them so much more easier to execute for yourself. So I can't stress it enough. Please, please, please set the dash macro. It is pretty vital to your game. All right, next up here, number 2, faultless defense canceling your dashes. FD canceling your runs or your dashes are still a very, essential part of Guilty Gear despite the introduction of dash blocking in Strive. This allows you to have more control over your dash momentum and using faultless defense to essentially halt your run and make you stop in place to make punishing a little bit easier. Now, learning how to utilize this will aid in baiting out your opponents that try to kind of halt your approaches, ultimately leading up to a nice punish for yourself. Unfortunately, this option doesn't really apply to Ino, Potemkin, or Naga Ryuki, so sorry guys if you play those characters. Number 3, we got 6P anti-air usage, okay? This is something that I really suggest that you get familiar with because everyone in Strive has a solid 6P anti-air. This is universally everyone's go-to anti-air. And it's just something that's really good to get your opponent off of you in certain situations, or just in like a general jump case. You may want to opt for something that's just useful. This is the move. Just keep in mind it doesn't always beat everything, so you kind of have to go into the training room and kind of figure out what beats what in that regard with your 6P. So be sure to check it out in training mode. Number 4 is reduce your air dash usage. It's a very common trend for new players in Guilty Gear to attempt to pretty much abuse air dashing as a means of approaching from the air because, it's an air dash game, right? We should be approaching from the air, but that's not always the case, right? While this is very good to use on the occasion, do not overuse this option as it can be very easily anti-air if used incorrectly. So this kind of stems back into number 3 where you're using your 6P to anti-air. Don't forget that this also works for your opponent as well, so be sure to use your air dashes wisely. And lastly, this is another one that's pretty much in correlation to number 4, and it is your jumps and double jumps and using run momentum. Run momentum is held during jumps and can make your approaches with jumps a lot more dynamic. In addition to utilizing run momentum, double jumping is also a part of your arsenal. This allows you to bait out anti-airs a little bit better and also makes your approaches a lot less linear when you decide to jump at your opponent. Be sure to mix these in with your air dashes to make your approaches a lot more dynamic. As a quick addendum, do not forget that there still is added landing recovery from your air dashes and or double jumps as well. Alright you guys, and that's going to do it for these 5 tips. I do believe that these are some pretty good tips for the foundation of your game. So be sure to use these a lot in practice. Be sure to use these in training mode and make sure you can perfect it there. And yeah, just up your proficiency. I want to see you guys use these things, okay? These things are very important to your improvement. I'm going to go on and get up out of here, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.